that, which is a big percentage of the field.
Yeah, now we're actually looking at Drop, too, who was this young gun that we were talking about. And he's instantly going to be taking some hits to the face from Afro Lull, but Drop was one of those players that we were talking about. This is the young gun looking to prove himself here today in his very first tournament. We're going to see the pressure is definitely on. I mean, you're sitting at a LAN, your first LAN, and you are surrounded by 60 players queuing up at the same time as you. It is quite a spectacle.
Yeah, absolutely. Another legend in the community, Sharima Wizard from Obey, who helped lead that team to the victory at Fight for the Crown. His team taking down that $250,000 prize at Fight for the Crown, which was absolutely insane to watch.
Oh, yeah, it was insane, and it's crazy to see how much everything has changed since then, though, too. What do you expect to see meta-wise come out that people maybe at home don't expect to see?
I definitely think some of the competitive community is going to see this, but some of the guys that are newer to the competitive scene and watching this maybe for the first time, this plays out a little different than a normal match of H1. Obviously, we're going in with 60 players rather than 175. So the beginning of the matches, these guys want to stay alive. It's placement plus kills. So they're going to play these games out a little bit slower and kind of bide their time and work their way into the safe zone, as we were talking about the early game. Maybe land 1 kill or 0, get your stuff. You want to get completely kitted, move to that mid game, lock down your spot, and then buckle in, because it's going to be a ride.
Yeah, for sure. And seeing that initial spread, too, is going to be big. That's when we really start making predictions as to where we think the ring is going to come in, as to how we think people are going to play that early game. Are we going to see people get aggressive? Will any guns be coming out early? Will any shots be coming out early? Or will we just see that more passive looting style of play?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we see the more passive play in Game 1. I think Game 2 is where you see some people maybe either desperate or needing to play back from having a bad Game 1. They didn't like their performance, and I think we see more aggressive in Game 2. But it's anybody. We'll just have to watch and see.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to get to see that initial spread, and you got to make the prediction, man. Where do you think the first ring's going to be?
It seems like it's shifted a little farther north. I'm thinking it's probably going to be somewhere around the northwest corner there, pushing a little bit towards Harris Bluffs, maybe up into Harris Ridge. We'll see if I can guesstimate that one, but I'm predicting a Harris Bluffs, Harris Ridge safe zone.
I'm going to predict PV.
You just like PV.
I'm going to predict it because I want it. I want it to all come down to PV, but we're going to jump onto Sharima Wizard to kick this off live from Dreamhack Atlanta, and he lands right onto, he just absolutely gifted that police car there.
Yeah, nobody challenges him for it. It looked like there was a shotgun on the ground. He's getting the beginning of his kit already. Isco flying into Ranchito here, landing near the blue roof and the red roof diners. We'll see if he actually decides to go across the street here to Ben's Furniture, and he's going to go through the window and start trying to get looted up. Drop Kid also already getting some loot out of one of these diners, and he started his kit off well already with a military backpack. And we might see a fight here early between Lifted and Prodigy Aces. Prodigy Aces is already tagged here down to about 75, so it looks like he may have caught him with the shotgun, but he is going to decide to back off the chase. You don't want to chase into somebody and possibly get one pumped by a shotgun yourself.
And these are, we were actually watching these guys warm up, and both of these guys looked incredible in warm up, so keep an eye on Prodigy Aces for sure. Now we're getting back on with Sharima Wizard. We saw him pick up this car early in the game. Absolute free. No one was there to contest it at all, and he is going to be riding that around right now, getting his loot going. Our young gun in the corner of your screen right now, Dropped, is going to be looting as well, and we see Mountain FPS is going to be the closest player to him.
Yeah, Mountain FPS, one of the guys out of the EU who actually helped build up the EU scene, kind of doing what Mini did for the NA guys. Mountain would be the guy that did that for the EU, so definitely glad to see him make it out here to Dreamhack and chop it down, a guy that's been at the top of the solo leaderboards for quite some time and quite a few seasons, being up there in those top 10 positions.
Yeah, we saw his rig already looked pretty great. His loadout looked pretty good. For anyone at home who's just watching for the first time that may not actually know what everyone is looking for in the looting phase, I know Pineapples has put out the guide. We talked about it quite a bit. What do you think all of these players are looking to achieve in general from their looting phase?
Yeah, I mean, Piney talks about doing a certain number of helmets, specific number of ammo. I think that it gets shifted a little bit once you're in a LAN environment. Every single one of these guys can pop your helmet instantly. The head taps, that is where the majority of their kills come from. So you're going to see guys carrying a lot more helmets than normal and then taking their shots a little bit slower, not expending quite as much ammo. So you'll probably see guys carrying 3, 4 extra helmets, a lot of materials to make extra makeshifts. You're going to see them carrying 200 to 300 rounds of ammo just to make sure they have enough to make it to the end game, and every single throwable they can get their hands on.
we were completely wrong about where that first ring was going to be as well.
I was half right. I got north. I just didn't quite get the
that's east, not west. So
You
that is
right.
going to be our first ring. But I want to touch back onto what you were talking about a little bit with the resources here. And we're going to see it a lot, especially when we move into the mid game. It really becomes a war of attrition. You know, you're using those bullets every now and then. You'll hear that tat, tat, tat really slow, trying to figure out their shot, trying to figure out height, trying to figure out how much that they actually need to lead. And on top of that, sometimes they'll engage just to pick off a helmet, just to pick off a makeshift or a Lammy, trying to just limit the resources of their opponent. So when they actually get to that final brawl, they are ahead in resources, not necessarily ahead in kills.
And this could be bad for Lenara coming in. Imperial Hal already in there, and one pumps Lenara directly in the head with a shotgun. Good night. That is a quick death. He had his pre-aim exactly where it needed to be. Easy kill.
Yeah, it feels pretty good that the first kill of our first game of Dreamhack is going to be a one pump, and we are going to be down to 59 players. The first one has fallen, but everyone seems to be playing pretty passively, more passively than we saw in practice. Which makes sense. I mean, this is kind of.
They were trying to get their guns warm in practices.
Exactly, yeah. And that's also like a big thing with Piney's guide as well. We're going to be talking to Pineapples a little bit later on today. But he's always talking about if you want to get better at the game, don't think about placement at first. You just got to go in there and get a feel for the gun, because that's how you practice what actually goes down in the last seconds of the game.
Yeah, your first couple hundred hours, just focus on learning the weapons. Again, these are things that, for any new viewers, the game is not a hit scan game, which basically means that it's a projectile. So these guys need to, it's not aim at the player, it's aim at where the player is going to be when your bullet gets there. So you have to treat it like an actual gunfight.
And that goes back to kind of what we were saying with, we'll see those long-range shots come out a little bit slowly. And now we're going to jump on with another fight. It's Mountain FBS behind the tree. You can see the Molly already did go down. Huskers going to have that car, so that's going to be some mobile cover for him there. But he's ultimately going to retreat. And it looks like Mountain probably took a shot there on top of the Molly.
Yeah, it looks like Huskers might be trying to take the fight, which is going to be somebody playing a little bit more aggressive than we would normally see. Typically, you want to keep your car alive. You want to keep all of your as many makeshifts, helmets, everything you can for that late game. Vehicles are huge in the late game to be able to keep yourself mobile and get yourself out of trouble quick.
Speaking of resources, Supersonic, we're going to see our airdrop coming in soon. And for anyone who hasn't been watching H1Z1, this is going to be the first airdrop that they're seeing, so you should probably touch on exactly what they can expect to happen here.
Yeah, so within the solo environment, this thing is going to drop down. It's going to hit the ground. There's going to be a little box on the ground that takes about 5 seconds to open. So you run up, click on it, and inside you're either going to get one of two power items. You're going to get either a hunting rifle, which is a one-shot kill to the head, or it is a 75 or 50 damage to the body, depending on if they have armor on. If you have armor on, you're going to take 50 damage from it. Other item is 2-hit body armor. That is huge. That puts you up against somebody with no armor, 2 shots ahead before the fight even starts. So ton of power inside of these things. Definitely worth getting, but you put yourself at risk because everybody's going to know where you are.
Yeah, we could see drop. Oh, we're jumping in on another fight right now, and that's going to be a really clean kill coming out here from Broderick. Saint Die going to fall down. But going back to that airdrop, we actually did see dropped, kind of circling around that in his police car. Not wanting to get too close, but definitely keeping his eyes on the prize there. Now Broderick, after his engagement, he comes out on top, going into the building, trying to loot, and he finds himself in a really good position here. And ultimately, we are going to jump on. Is he going to be able to get this here?
Yeah, it looks like Milky Day's going to go for it without even dropping a smoke nade, which is really dangerous. It does have the armor in there, and it looks like I think he may have gotten it. I think that we got tabbed on it too late, but I believe that the hunting rifle may have been there, actually. There was a blank spot in the box.
Yeah, we'll definitely hear it if it did, but right now, Milky Day going to get as far away from that highly contested zone as possible, and the police car is the perfect resource to be using it. And he does have it.
It is there on his back, so Milky Day able to lock down and get the hunting rifle here early. That is a big, big pickup for him, and that will probably come into play if he can maintain and stay alive till the end game. That is a big piece to have in those final circles while people are fighting. All you got to do is tag them in the knee.
I've heard you say it just about a million times, too. The second we hear those shots fired, it is going to put the fear in everyone on the map.
Yeah, absolutely. The hunting rifle is definitely an item that is going to make people very aware. Sometimes it gives you away, but it also makes them not want to fight.
Yeah,
they'll typically not peek you.
It kind of forces people exactly not to take those favorable peek fights. It forces them not to take favorable fights. It really forces players to play scared. Now we're going to jump on with Doug is Raw. He also has a police car of his own, and he's getting close to Shurima Wizard, who we saw pick up the very first police car of the game.
Yeah, looks like he's going to decide to kind of take off to the side. It looks like they're trying to go out to the edge of the safe zone, maybe get outside of the safe zone to come in with the gas when it comes in the first time. And it looks like Afrolol is looking for fights, and he was definitely chasing down fights within the warm-ups. And it looks like he's currently in pursuit, throwing a couple shots towards Lifted, as Lifted checks that door to make sure he's not going to walk into somebody with a shotgun.
Yeah, and he is checking everything. Got to dot all of your I's and cross your T's in a scenario like that. And Lifted, definitely the type of player to make sure that he does all of that. Now jumping on with Grimmy Bear. He's got some pretty good lines here, but going to play it ultimately passively. I don't think he's given away his positioning behind these ridges yet. I don't think he wants to do that just yet. He might be kind of trying to close space and get in for a pinch eventually, but all the players are pretty far off.
Yeah, it looked like Bazaar was missing a little bit of health off his bar. They may have been in an engagement earlier there, but Zoltan going to go down to Shurima Wizard on a head tap from the shotgun. Back out over there where they were driving around in the cars, so Shurima already netting himself 1,000 points on a kill here, and we're down to 56.
That is the second shotgun kill that we've seen
to the head.
Well. Yeah, so we've been talking about the shotgun and just how important we thought that it might be here today. Definitely starting to see the players who have gotten it paying dividends. Yeah. Rexy, Monster, Balin, all pretty far away from getting into that safe zone. Going to have to be really huffing it over now.
Yeah, they'll be able to make it. It looks like a couple of them are moving fairly quickly. Monster's definitely got a car. He would not be that far up there if he didn't have a vehicle right now. So I expect most of these guys to make it out of the gas or end up in a fight in the gas there. And it looks like Crank may be chasing. It looked like Crank was following right behind somebody in a vehicle there. So we might end up seeing a fight from Crank soon.
Yeah, we saw that defensive smoke come down, not wanting to take that fight. Now jumping on board, seeing a few shots ring out. Not too much is going to come out of it.
Constantly moving. You'll see this a lot from these guys where some players, when they first start out, are kind of like trying to hide and they hold their corners. Most of the time, you're going to see these guys constantly moving unless they're inside of a building trying to not give away their footsteps. And Measley here, great positioning. This is a great rooftop. This staircase, there's only one way up this building, and he has a ridge. He can just sit there, hold that spot. So until he's forced off, I expect Measley to not move at all. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, Measley is set up really well. And now we're jumping on with Memento and Crank. We've been seeing quite a few of these just police car dances going on in the fields. And no one wants to take the fight just yet, but it is going to be dropped right now. He tries to put a couple shots into Milky Day as Milky Day retreats back into those trees. Not too concerned by the pressure that Drop had attempted to put onto him, but this young gun still looking very good in this match.
Yeah, throwing the shot sometimes worth it. If you can sit there and your vehicle's not at risk of getting hit and you can put some rounds into other people's vehicles, anything you can take away from them is a positive. You just want to sit there and wear them down. Best case scenario, you don't get, or worst case scenario, you don't get the kill. You take out their car, and this guy's stuck on foot against everybody else driving around. They'll take him out for you.
Yeah, and that's like the big thing that we talked about as we move into this mid-game. It is that war of attrition. Like right now, obviously, Doug is Raw, not going in for the kill. But if he can start getting Zeet's car to degrade a little bit, if he can just get some serious damage into that, that will be a thing that will come into effect later in the game when the smoke or when the gas really does start to collapse on these players and they're forced into these engagements constantly. And as you can see right now, our playing field has drastically shrunk. Everyone really huffing it over. Monster was the one guy that we really did highlight, and you can see he is pretty deep into the gas right now.
Yeah, he's going to make it out, though. He'll be fine. He'll come out before. He's stopping right now just to get a heal rolling so that when he comes out of the gas, it's already going, and he's not having to try and heal in the open while people can see him. So he's just meting up early.
Yeah, definitely a good play to see from him. Now on board with Gotaga, we can see that he does have that truck for himself, and he's holding his line as well. And now Lifted is going to play around in the gas for just a little bit here.
Yeah, this early gas wave is doing next to nothing in damage. All of these guys should make it out. Nobody's too deep in the gas. They'll all be fine. Unless they get pinched coming out, that's a different story. But the gas, I don't expect to take anybody in this first wave.
Yeah, and with the positioning that we did see, I don't expect anyone to actually get pinched when they do come out of that gas. I think they're pretty safe to be hanging out in here for now. Just like you said, want to make sure that they do get themselves pre-meted a little bit, get that healing rolling, so when they come out, they don't have to worry about any additional factors.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a big part of the meta, and a lot of players would make use of it. There's players that like to go to the center of the safe zone, so the circle would always, they wouldn't have to move that far if the circle moved. The other guys like to play the gas, and you can out-heal it for quite a while until you hit what we call toxicity. it basically, the longer you're in the gas, it builds up. Once you hit 100% toxicity, all damage from gas is increased by double. So not too many guys are going to play the gas very long, but in this early game, we may see some of them just go ahead and do that. And again, talking about attrition, he's just eating up the car.
He got some nice shots in there, though, too. So we do have to say that those shots were definitely, they might pay dividends a little bit later on, getting them into that car. And now we're back on with Soar Rogue. Not to get confused with anyone from Rogue Gaming. His name is Rogue, and he is on the organization of Soar. And he is just doing donuts, hanging out, having a grand old time back on with Measley. And we already highlighted this is one of the most optimal positions that we have seen thus far. Look for Measley to be doing big things in this first game.
Yeah, for somebody to take that spot from Measley, it's going to be a lot of work. Measley definitely has the upper hand there, no matter who comes up that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the main thing is what resources he actually has with him right now, because that's really going to be most of what he has for the game if he's just going to try to hold that position. But that's definitely a good strategy. Now jumping on with Broderick, one of the guys who was getting some of these early kills onto the board. He's going to sink some shots into that Jeep while he can. Now moving back to these rocks, but kind of in the open for now. This could be a fight here. This actually looks like a really good fight for Jeesh.
Yeah, Jeesh and Afrolol, both solid players. Jeesh, one of my favorites to possibly. I could definitely see Jeesh making the top 20. A monster player. And Keebler gonna go down to a headshot. I didn't catch the name there, but Keebler gets eliminated in 56th place.
I want to really get your expert opinion. What did you think of using that smoke defensively there to get into the more solid tree fire from Jeesh?
It's definitely a good use of it, especially when you don't know how many people are around you, possibly somebody else there. Sometimes it'll end up working out. Somebody will try to take the shot as you run into the smoke, and you kind of bait them out. Now you know where the other person is. Making use of smokes is a big part of the meta right now. If you got them and you got enough to expend, use them. There's no reason to not try and eliminate lines of sight for your enemy.
I was really surprised that we didn't see a smoke actually come down on that airdrop. That was one of the wonkier things that we've seen so far in this game. He went in raw, man. He was able to just take it without anything.
And Lifted goes down to Samuel here early in 55th place. So Rogue Lifted gets taken out. But yeah, the not putting that down was absolutely crazy to me. Like, to not smoke nade yourself off when you're on land playing to get in to play for money is absolutely insane. And Milky Day going to just go ahead and clean up some of these explosive barrels around him so that he can kind of set up shop here. And he's going to probably make use of that. I expect him to probably hang out, just sit around for a little bit and wait for some people to walk in. Maybe he can get a one pump from sitting inside.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely smart to make sure that there isn't anything that can explode on you. But now we are going to see that second ring coming in here, collapsing right around Ranchito.
Yeah, so we're still up here in the Ranchito area. We're going to see a new circle here probably in about 30 to 45 seconds once that circle closes in completely. And the next circle is going to be a fairly big jump in the size of how much it decreases. So we're going to see a much smaller circle.
Yeah, that is for sure, and that means we are going to see a lot more engagements. And with how these players have been playing it out, we are going to see an absolute bloodbath when that does collapse.
Yeah, definitely. Rexy here just kind of hanging out, driving around. You're going to see this from a lot of players where they're just kind of cruising around most of the time, just trying to maintain as much gas as they can or find a spot to hide their car so that it's not at risk of getting eliminated. And some fat kid coming around here.
See that
Grimmy
kill?
doesn't see
Broderick
it.
fell.
Fat kid sees him. First shotgun shell's going to come out. Takes Grimmy down to about half health. We'll see if he decides to push this. No. Fat kid's going to go ahead and back off of that fight. And he's going to come around the corner instead. He's got a throwable in hand. Grimmy, knowing that he's rotating, though, pops a fence to give himself a chance to escape. And he is. He's going to back out of that and down the fence. I expect him to pop another fence and go through here.
Some fat kid going to take it, though. He gets a few shots, and none of them connect to Grimmy Bear. Grimmy Bear does manage to get behind this cover. Some fat kid is still up in this fight by about 2 shots. We already did see Broderick go down. Will some fat kid be able to bring down Grimmy Bear as well? Grimmy spacing this out as much as he can. He's got a whole house between him and some fat kid and some fences as well.
Yeah, both of these guys just making use of the fences, and they're just counter-rotating on each other over and over again, and it looks like these two are going to decide it's just not worth it, and they're going to go ahead and separate. I give that to Fat Kid, though, by taking away, again, some resources from Grimmy Bear. So Grimmy down at least one makeshift.
Yeah, definitely do agree with you there, and now we're going to jump on board with Choppa down, and as you can see, he is right up against that gas. This fence is down. He's looking to move around. Question is, does he know how close Prox is to him?
Absolutely. He stepped out to take a shot there for a second. And Fatkid now out in the open in a fight against Disturbed Gaming. Disturbed with a better position. Lands his first shot into Fatkid. Gets a second one down below 50%. Nade into the smoke. We'll see if it connects here. He actually doesn't step into the smoke. So this is another tactic of using smoke. You can bait people into thinking that you're in it, and they'll start throwing away their grenades at it, and you're actually just standing on the outside and healing up. In fact, you're going to make the good decision there. That's what a lot of players will do when you throw down a smoke, is just throw a throwable in there and try and eliminate you.
Yeah, another good play by some Fatkid. We've watched him quite a bit in these last few seconds here. Looking really good in that gunfight against Grimmy Bear, and then expertly using that smoke to defend himself. Now he's retreating back, trying to keep his eyes on any players that may be around, but he kind of finds himself out in the open as he retreats from that last engagement.
Yeah, Frosty just kind of hanging out here, doing another spot where you can just literally hold it down. And you're just waiting for the guy to come up the stairs. You pre-aim, get an easy tap. So
that was the first, that's the exact way that we saw the first kill play out, but now we might see another one. Prodigy Ace is getting a few shots onto the car of Gotaga, but it looks like he may just let it be, get into his Jeep and cruise on off.
Yeah, I expect Prodigy Aces, he's just trying to find a spot to really hide his vehicle away so that other people can't take it out. That spot under the bridge isn't bad if you back into it. He is going to leave the car out in the open. I personally probably would have backed it up and under the bridge because there's no spot to see through under in that corner there. He could have completely tucked the car away. But he's going to hop out, and Samuel firing some long-range shotguns onto Kingley, who is going to choke out and go down to the gas. And now we've got shots coming in onto Samuel, who is down to about 75, loses a makeshift, and I'm thinking the shots may have come from Shurima Wizard over along the riverbed.
Yeah, I think those were some long-distance shots as well, and yeah, pulling that makeshift is going to be big, but now we jump on board with Grimmy Bear and Noble.
Yeah, Nadroj here coming up on Grimmy. Grimmy just holding it down. I'm not sure if Nadroj knows that Grimmy's there.
Afrolo also did fall down while we jumped on to this current back and forth. It doesn't look like anyone's going to open up anytime soon. I think they're just testing each other out, trying to get a feel for it, but they are very close to one another.
Yeah, this is the please come to me, I don't want to come to you battle, where they're just waiting. Whoever makes the first move is typically going to be at the disadvantage. So neither one of these players want to advance on the other one, and I don't expect that fight to go down.
And Natraj kind of had that peak advantage there with that tree. If someone comes into him, it could be a one pump. And now we are going to see the first shot is going to be landed into Tross by Gotaga.
Yeah, Gotaga lands that helmet and looks like he's going to try and chase. He's going to have a rough time chasing this down, though, with the pickup truck versus the cop car. The cop car, we like to call it the Ferrari. It is just the fastest vehicle in here, and I don't see them chasing it down.
Yeah, I heard a couple of shots ringing out there, but as you can see, we're jumping back on board with Grimmy Bear, and that fight never happened.
Yeah, exactly as we thought. They're going to go ahead and back down. Grimmy not with a car, so he's not going to leave the backyard. Other player with a vehicle, so he's not going to leave his car. So
exactly.
Fight's just not going to happen.
We've seen Shurima Wizard hanging out in this cop car the whole time.
These ridge lines are great, especially with this gas coming up behind him on his backside here. He doesn't really have to worry about people behind him, so he has pretty much all cover. He only has to worry about up the water line to his right and wait for the gas, and I expect him to sit here until the gas starts moving and then rotate in with the gas. But we do see Jeesh here coming up onto Shurima along the south side of the gas line.
One thing I want to point out, too, that ring doesn't look like enough space to have a party with 50 people.
No, it was definitely built with a max fire code of 30. So 50's a little much going in there, and I expect to see some people start dropping as they come in, especially with the guys that got there early and started securing the rooftops. They're going to hold down the city. They are your turrets that are defending the city.
Did Gotaga get pinched there? He manages to... Oh, that was a beautiful kill coming out of Duke.
With the assist from Trost, but Duke able to jump in and pinch that fight out and get the final shot and gets a helmet tap on to take him down.
Prox now going to be inside of his smoke, trying to keep himself clean, staying out of this fight with Choppa Down, getting back to this wall here, ultimately going to make sure he takes out the explosive there, scared that some shots from Choppa Down may stray and actually cause an explosion. Good move. Now Duke going to be fresh off of that kill onto the ATV, trying to close some space here.
Yeah. We'll see if what he's going to decide to do here, but it looks like BMR might decide to chase him down. I'm not sure now that it's gone away, but we do hear some shots ringing out. We're going to jump on board with Imperial Howl, who's looking out towards Vex Mickey, who is already down to about 50%, but Mickey, again, using those smokes to smoke himself off and get to a safe spot.
Yeah, that's kind of been the entirety of the match right now. We've seen a lot of those smokes go out anytime an engagement has happened. And jumping back on board, look, we're still on that roof.
Yeah, Casperific playing the turret, ends up taking down Samuel from the rooftop here as he comes into town. And Jeesh goes down to the toxic gas. He must have been in a fight with somebody. I can't see him from where his position was, staying in the gas that long. Choppa extremely low as he comes out of the gas with a smoke nade, lays down, actually crouches, and he is just going to heal up right here on the edge of the gas as it stops.
And he's not out of the woods yet, though. I mean, well, he is kind of out of the woods.
I mean, he's
at this
out of the
point.
woods.
Yeah, but he could still find himself stuck into an engagement for sure.
Yeah, Casper here watching this. Now, Choppa is somebody that's definitely aware. I've seen him use it on players before that played rooftops. He knows that this barrel's here. And if he can find Casper walking close like that again, that's a dangerous play from Casper.
Look at
he
these
shoots that
trades
barrel,
coming
it's
in
an
now.
instant kill.
We just saw another 2 fall. Duke was one of them who had just gotten that big kill picked up, and we're down to 46. And we are going to start seeing that number drop off very, very quickly as the playing field gets smaller and smaller. And we can hear the shots ringing out, and Grimmy Bear going to pick up a kill of his own. Now Casperific looking to get some shots into Chopper Down. Chopper Down going to move out of that smoke, move close to the building. Casperific not having a great line here. Now Chopper Down going to move inside of the building that Casperific has been camping on top of.
Yeah, Casper going to probably just kind of set it and forget it and worry about Choppa later. He's going to pay attention more to Balin, and most of the time he's probably just going to stay moving. Again, like we were talking about, don't waste all your ammo just trying to get these long-range kills. Throw a couple bullets, eat up their helmets, eat up their armors, and just work it down. And Memento going to go down here to Figures in a close-range fight inside, and it looks like Memento was also, his death was assisted by Measly.
Yeah, so Measly was actually one of the guys who I wanted to note. You could see him in the corner of your screen for a little bit there. He's still propped up on that roof, set and ready to go, able to pinch in there, and he is going to really be able to dictate the tempo of this game as the playing field gets smaller because he's perched up. He can pinch whenever he wants, just get a couple of shots in. If anyone tries to get up there and contest him, he can ultimately take them out because there is only that one area that they can come up.
Yeah, like I said, as soon as we saw it, it is the best spot he could be in. There's no reason to move unless the gas dictates that you must do so.
Exactly.
And this airdrop going to drop down right here next to Huskers and Rexy. I'm not sure if either of them have looked out the door and even know that it's there. There's no audio cue of it hitting the ground. So until they look at it, they're not going to know it's there. One of them might just walk out the back door and end up with a free hunting rifle.
Yeah, I mean, that is the real question, is who sees it first. But now looking at Casperific here, he has a pretty clean attempt. Does he see the man in the top of the screen? It is Thugga. Thugga's already taken some shots from Chopper Down, and yeah, Casperific comes in with the pinch, cleans him off. Thugga gonna fall down, and as you can see, another 2 kills. The kill feed is just lighting up right now. Grimmy Bear and Crank on denial, both going to fall to some Fat Kid and Isco.
Yeah, some Fat Kid and the Grimmy Bear fight finally happens, and Fat Kid gonna take that one down himself, and we are down to 41 players here. FJ here just playing against everything. He's trying to find a way out. I'm not sure what he was going for with the smoke nade, and Teenage gonna go down to Prodigy Ace's shotgun, and now we've got Rogue dropped versus Disturbed Gaming, and expertly using that shotgun, gets the jump shot. He's over the fence, gets 2 hits, cleans it up, gonna heal. Solid kill.
Beautiful. I mean, nice and clean. Now we actually can see Prodigy Aces here. He's taking a little bit of damage, able to heal himself up. The FPS is in a pretty interesting position here. He has his back up against that gas, and he has only the rock for cover. And as you can see, everyone else is in Ranchito.
Bizarre is actually playing the gas right now. It just showed for a split second there, but Bizarre was out in the gas line with about 80% health, and it looks like he isn't moving. He is playing the gas and trying to out-heal it, letting the herd kind of thin itself before he comes in.
That was exactly what I was thinking the FPS might want to do. Maybe actually dip into that gas since he has it on his back. Let everyone do the dirty work for you. Come in when the win is like up for grabs. Figure's going to fall down here to Cryptic.
Yeah, now it sounds like those shots are probably coming from the FPS out here on the edge of the gas line there, but Isco playing the inside of this building here, closing his door, hanging out, got a shotgun. Rexy gonna go down to Cryptic. Cryptic BMR now taking down 2 players back to back there, netting 2,000 points. He is cleaning up right now.
Yeah, I just want to bring that up again. The way that players are actually scored here in this game and all of the games that we're going to be playing all weekend long is going to be their placement and on top of that, the actual kills that they're getting on. And that's going to be 1,000 points per kill. We see another one. We're down to 35 players here now.
Yeah, Bizarre finally makes his way in out of the gas, and he is starting to work his way in, trying to find possibly an empty warehouse, something with some solid walls around him that makes him feel a little safer than being out in the open. And Prox just kind of holding down a weird spot. This really isn't a lot of cover here, and I expect Prox to, take off, and he needs to find himself a much better spot than where he was at.
Oh, now we're going to jump in on a great fight, and ultimately, wow, that was beautiful. Seeing him come back as he was down. Nadraj going to get that kill onto Bizarre. He was so low. He's one shot away from going down, but ultimately is able to close that space.
FPS going to blow up that barrel there, but there is a player down the other side, and he saw it as he was backing up. He spotted Monster.
Yeah, he did spot Monster. I have to say, that fat kid, my favorite gamer tag to say so far this weekend. And we are going to see Trash go down to Prox. That's going to be a big kill for Prox as well. He is still set up inside of this building.
P90 going to take down Choppa down with a headshot from the shotgun. We're seeing a ton of headshots from shotties come out, and these close-range engagements are really hard when you're jumping around to get those headshots, and we're seeing these guys land them time after time. Milky Day taking down 2 players back-to-back with the shotgun, cleaning up and getting some points. And we've got another shotgun battle going down outside between Nadro and FJ. Nadro extremely far behind, gets cleaned up by the AR after the shotgun battle, and then Measly taking out Casperific, who is playing the other rooftop. I'm pretty sure Measly probably took shots from one roof to the other there.
Now I just want to bring it back to the kill feed because we are just starting to see this light up, and we are going to see another one fall in this engagement, and it is going to be Isco. That Slayer who had just taken down someone is going to fall.
He's going to trade, though.
That was a beautiful trade.
FJ goes down to Isco from the bleed damage, and he's going to go out. Milky Day landing himself another kill onto some fat kid. Milky Day is absolutely lighting up right now.
Now, the thing with Milky Day getting all of these kills on the board, he's already almost in that top 20, so his placement's really racking up, and we know he already has 3,000, 4,000 points in his back pocket. Gonna see that smoke come down. FPS, he was up against a rock. He was up against that gas ring, and he now has positioned himself on top of a roof. Much better positioning here, and now he really has a lay of the land. And as we can see, we do actually see a player from LG, JP2, choking out in the gas right now. That's going to be another one to fall, and we are dangerously close to our top 20 players. Only one more remain, and it may be Prox just falling down right now. But beautiful footwork coming out of him, but ultimately Zeke was so advantaged in that fight, he is able to take him down, maintaining his helmet as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're talking about, those close-range fights. Sometimes you're just on and you're going to get that whip shot and get that shotgun kill, and then you see these other ones where you're both kind of what we like to call ENAS or the alligator run, trying to stay out of the line of sight from the other guy and basically dodge those shotgun shells, and wasn't able to do it long enough. And here comes another close-range shotgun battle between, can't catch it,
can't catch it because they're down like crazy, but Tenke is going to pick up that kill on Huskers. Then we jump on board. Oh, bodies are dropping left and right. Nefa Milky Day is going to fall. He seemed to be in the lead as far as kills went, but he is going to fall at 19th place. Now we're on board with Prodigy Aces, and we can hear the shots just getting fired into Imperial as he does fall down. And ooh, Shurima Wizard going to fall as well. A lot of the guys who we saw really well situated at the beginning of the game have fallen off.
Yeah, sometimes the gas makes you have to move, and you've got to play through some bad situations, and unfortunately they've gone down. Prodigy Ace is going to go down to Cryptic again. Cryptic is absolutely destroying people right now. And Doug actually going to win against Transpare with the AR versus the shotgun, able to land those quick rapid-fire shots, and Zeke with the long-range shot into Vex Mickey, but Rogue dropped, steals the 1,000 points from him and takes him down, and Zeke then goes down to Ashton.
That was a really big pinch to come in from him, and that weird jump is going to cost FPS's life.
Measly actually ends up dying there to FPS. Measly was forced off the roof by the gas, and he was hit by the FPS, so when he jumped and hit the ground, it finished off the kill.
That's what forced him off.
So he goes down in 11th.
Okay, yeah, and that's a big deal because we were highlighting the fact that we thought Measly just had the best position, and the only things that could push him off, really, it was mostly the gas or someone finding a cheeky way to get up on that building. And ultimately, the gas going to put him between a rock and a hard place, going to have to fall off that building. We are in our top 8. We only have 8, or we only have 8 left.
Yeah, it's going down here really quick. A lot of big-name guys here, though, still. Doug is raw on STD. 10K taking him down, though. 10K, the new announcement actually yesterday from Echo Fox. He is now the 5th man of that 5-man roster, also coming out of Turkey. Amazing player. Arguably arguably the best player in the game.
He just got picked up and he's showing up. Now we find DFBS in that favorable position like we saw Measly in earlier. And Cryptic BMR OG going to pick out 2-piece here, going to take down 10K and Hurrah. And now finds himself behind this building, going to be able to heal himself up. But DFBS has a clear line on him. Rogue Drop trying to come up from behind. Zeeth going to take out Mountain FPS. We only have 4 left here, and it looks like a third's going to fall. Dropped. Gonna get that explosion, and Zeeth is going to fall.
Yeah, this ending is absolutely nuts. Players are falling left and right. Drop making a great play there, using that explosive barrel to take down Zeeth as he comes around the corner. And now we've got BMR dropped and to FPS. FPS trying to make that jump, lands right in front of BMR, and they are now in a shotgun battle. And to FPS turns the fight around, takes out BMR, and he is now in second. Dropped, gets the finish, takes down game 1. Drop Kid, who we were talking about at the beginning, the young gun, absolute slayer, takes down game 1 here of the qualifiers.
This is his first tournament, and he's going to take first place in these qualifiers. That is absolutely huge for him, and you know, you love to see it happen. The young gun coming out, that's worth the investment for Rogue. Picking him up before he was even eligible to play, now he shows up in his first tournament, and he is looking incredible.
And we were asking if he was going to be able to transition onto land, and this is a game that is much smoother on land. It feels a bit different. It's a big change. I think even more so than some other games. It's a little bit different feel, and he transitioned